Babes, you do know that back to school is around the corner, right?
Okay, babes, I'm gonna help you get back to school snatched immediately.
It may seem a little bit excessive to do an hour and 30 minutes in the gym, but I promise you, if you just stay with me, you're gonna love your results. This workout is an intentional workout.
And I highly recommend that you start to incorporate progressive overload into these workouts as you do them in the future.
Babes, because I need the minute that you walk into your classroom, people are like, girl, did you get a BBL?
Okay, baddie, let's get into it.
We're starting off strong with squats for 4 sets of 7.
I'm going to need you to warm up though, because that's like standard at this point. You should know that, right?
Well, if you didn't know, well, now you know.
You're welcome.
Well, I always recommend that you warm up with just the bar and then you start adding weight. So I usually start with the bar and then I add a 35 and then I go ahead and add a 45. I pretty much do as many reps as I want to do until I feel nice and warm. So here's me doing that 45. Now, if you cannot do this weight,
what do you do?
Don't be like, oh, no, I can't do this. No, girl, like just throw on a 10 or throw on a 25. Like, girl.
We don't short our results because we're scared. Let's do it.
And I love me a narrow stance squat real bad, and I have my feet slightly turned out because the top of my toes are where my knees are going to follow.
I squat all the way booty to floor, and that is just a preference thing, but to help you get a deeper squat, you can put a dumbbell right underneath your butt and practice trying to tap the dumbbell and then coming back up. It's such a perfect way to start fine-tuning your form.
Now getting into the weight that I'm doing, I don't do boy math. I did a 45, a 25, and a 10 on both sides. You do the math, babes. And that weight for me is challenging, but also not too heavy and not too light. And that's the exact same feeling that I want for you when you're doing your squats. My tip, if you've been in the gym for a year or like squatting for a year, babes, you should be able to do a 45 and a 10 and 5. And if you're my beginner babes, you should be able to do a 10 and a 5 or just a 25.
Okay, now moving on, we have a cute little RDLS superset with kettlebell lunges for 4 sets of 12.
And you're probably like, yeah, but like, isn't RDLs and lunges for glutes?
Yes and no. We're adjusting the form ever so slightly so that it is only felt in the quads and in the hamstrings. And here's how you do it.
So number one, I am not going as heavy as I normally do because for me, the minute that I go extremely heavy, my glutes tend to take over because I am now glute dominant. And number two, I'm not reaching as far back as I normally do. I'm kind of stopping my range of motion so that way I'm only feeling it in my hamstrings rather than my glutes.
Enough of the yapping, let's get into the form.
After you warm up, of course, please go ahead and add you some weight. I stuck with 50 pounds on both sides because that was challenging for me. It wasn't too easy, it wasn't too hard. Worked out the hamstring.
Make sure you're hinging at the hips, so this means you have a slight bend in your knee. You're pushing your hips back while you're keeping your chest up and your back straight.
As you're lowering the bar, just think of it like, okay, I'm just shaving my leg.
So make sure that you're engaging your hamstring. So while you're going down, you should be focused on keeping the tension in your hamstrings the entire time. Please avoid rounding your back for the entire movement.
That is it for the RDLs, babes, and now we're moving on to kettlebell lunges for 4 sets of 12.
I love this workout. It is a challenge. It is definitely a full body workout, so let's get into it. I decided to use a little placemat just to elevate my feet ever so slightly. You could just put a plate down on the floor and do the same. So one kettlebell is going to be on your shoulder, and the other one is placed right next to your working leg. You are holding both the entire time. You're going back to starting position and then lunging back at the point of tension. I'm making sure that my feet are hitting a 90-degree angle, and you guys can see that there, boom, that's a 90-degree angle. And I kept that form the entire time. Something that can help you to make sure that you're achieving the proper form is to stand in front of a mirror so that you can know what that feels like.
Instead of re-stepping, you can just stay in a static position and just go down and up alternatively.
When you're done with one leg, take a 30-second break, and then do your next leg. Now we have my favorite, which is leg press for 3 sets of 25. I need you going as low as you possibly can because otherwise, girl, like, are you really getting that work in? And I feel like the leg press has helped me increase my squat depth tremendously because I'm going as low as I possibly can. I naturally just keep a turned out stance with my feet, but it's honestly whatever feels comfortable for you. I feel this in my quads, I feel it very slightly in my hamstrings, and just ever so slightly in my calves.
And girl, please do not embarrass me.
Do not ever do a full extension on a leg press because what are you doing? Keep the tension the whole time.
And kindly add that weight, Pookie Bookie, because I need you to have superior, fantastic BBL gains.
And do not kill me, but I decided to add another set, so that's one more set for 4 sets total, and it is as many reps as possible
for 2 minutes.
Hate me now, but love your results later.
I love this superset real bad. We're doing a leg extension, so you're doing full extensions for 4 sets of 12, and you're supersetting that with a single leg extension for 10 reps on each leg.
After you adjusted your seat, make sure that you're comfortable. You're going to extend your legs all the way at the top of the movement.
Hold for a brief second and then go down and back up.
I highly recommend that you too hold the sides of your leg extension machine so that way your butt doesn't come up.
I'm so sorry, but immediately after you're done with the full extensions, you have to do the single leg extensions, and it burns so bad.
The same thing, you're pausing at the top, you're holding it for a second right there, and then bringing it back down. For this one, I didn't really need to hold the sides because it's honestly not that much weight. I did 20 pounds for one set, 30 pounds for another set, and I couldn't go any higher than that because my legs were so fatigued. For my beginner girlies, I highly recommend that you do at least 10 pounds or 5. So next up, we have a little functional conditioning circuit, and I've decided to throw this in especially after I completely failed on my functional conditioning with CJ. Not gonna lie, when I had functional conditioning, I was just so toned and so snatched. So I'm just like, you know what? It's back to school, like I might as well. So you could screenshot the circuit that I did if your gym allows for it, or alternatively, you can just do these like just one exercise at a time because I'm not sure how your gym works. So anyways, I'm just gonna explain sled pulls. You're just going to push and then you're just going to pull it. The lower your hands are, the easier it is for you to move it. This sled pull was extremely heavy for no reason, and I'm pretty sure it had no I don't know, it needed some WD-40 on the bottom of that thing because it was not moving. After I did one round of the pulls, I went on to hamstring curls for 12 reps on each leg. You guys know the drill. Pause a little bit at the top, keep the tension the whole time, keep it slow and controlled, and that is it. And the reason why I do this machine is to help fix some muscle imbalances that I have because one leg is stronger than the other. And pause because this machine is also so humbling. Double hamstring curls versus the single leg, like the strength difference is insane. Like this is 20 pounds and it is heavy for me. I don't think I've gone past 40 pounds. But like, I still refuse to stop because all I think in my head is like, girl, I want to have the best body. I want to be the best version of myself. So I keep it going. Next part of the circuit is kettlebell swings for 25 reps. This is something that I have newly incorporated, but I really do like a lot. So I'm leaning forward to make sure that kettlebell is going through both of my legs and I'm hinging my hips. And I'm also making sure that my stance is wider than shoulder width apart. And as you can see, my headphones fell, but work still had to be done and nothing can stop me. Boom, 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 finishing that set. And I need the same energy from you, my baddies, because nothing should stop my baddie queens. Last thing, best thing, I need some box jumps for 25 reps. I decided to use something a little bit higher just to make it a bit more challenging since I was doing this unweighted. If you see a box that looks like that black box to the left of me, that is perfect for you to use. I genuinely have no preference on your stance as long as you're working and you're jumping. That's all I need. So yes, baddies, that is it. We have come to a close. If you guys are interested, this is an unreleased set from Gym Girly. If you guys like this set, please let me know in the comments so I can order more of these and release them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my back to school baddie workout. I hope you guys loved it and I'll see you here next time on Celestri Fit.